Hi everyone, it's Sue. Oh, I'm so excited. I've been playing with air drying clay again. Now I did previously, quite a few months ago now, some little charms with some air drying clay. And I've got these Iron Orchid design molds. I do still have some in my shop and they're on special. If you're interested, I'll pop the link down below. So these are like cameos and watches. So this one is actually called Cameos. This one is called Monarch. So it's the butterflies, dragonflies, moths. And then this one, which I think probably is my favorite. Sorry, I should have had that out of the packet. It's called Lock and Key. And these are absolutely stunning. So I'm not going to do all of these today. I have actually done a couple and they're dried, particularly in this weather where we are at the moment. It's quite wet and cold, so they take quite a while to dry. So I just wanted to show you how I do them, and then I'm actually going to have a bit of a play around with them and see if I can colour some of them up and see what we come up with. So I think I'm going to I'll just do some of this one. This, as I said, is my favourite one, and they're beautiful. They're you could actually even cook with these. Obviously you would cook with them, have to clean them, and you'd cook with them before you actually use any other medium in them. I think they can take up to 200 degrees Celsius, so that's quite a bit. All right, so what I'm going to do, I might have one here. I need a little brush because this will do. So I use corn flour. They recommend cornstarch, which I think is a similar sort of thing. And it's just so it's easier to get the mold out. And I'm just going to do this one here, this one and this one maybe. So what I do is I just put, and obviously you could use a bigger brush. This is what I've got close to me. So you just put this in the mold that you're going to use. I'll do a few. I'll do these three here just to show you how easy it is. And I've got way too much there, so all I do is you can just do it straight onto your desk, or just shake it back into the container. I think I was a bit excited with the amount of corn flour that I needed. So anyway, I do hope to make quite a few of these because they're so much fun. I absolutely love making them. And then I just bounce the mold and the excess off onto my desk. Now I've been coffee dyeing today, so I'm sorry if my top is really grubby. So I've been doing all the messy bits and pieces of art and crafting today. This is just a house top, so if it gets filthy, it doesn't matter. Alrighty, so once you've done that, now they do suggest, if you can, when you use your air dry clay, to use it all up at once. Well, I mean, I'm not ever going to sit here and make this amount in one hit. This is 500 grams, but I have got a clip seal bag here. They do also recommend, as in people that I've seen use it before, wrap it in Glad wrap or cling wrap and then stick it in a clip seal bag. I haven't ever had any problem with it going dry if I haven't used it all up. So they're just a few bits and pieces to keep in mind. And I was just reading on the back here, it says wrap any leftover clay in plastic wrap and store in an airtight container away from direct heat and sunlight. So I've just only ever wrapped it in clip seal. Okay, so this isn't white. It says it's white. Now, I wouldn't call that white. I would call that a taupey colour. But anyway, I haven't used this brand before. This is from Bunnings, and I would prefer something a bit whiter. I'm going to hope to paint these though, so I'm hoping that it won't affect. Oh, and it's really quite wet. Okay, this is a different, as I said, I haven't used this before. Anyway, we'll see what happens. So basically all you do is you just press it down into the mold. It's as easy as that. And I get something to scrape the top. This is really nice to use though. It's nice and soft. And then normally what I do is I just scrape off any excess so that you can reuse it, and just get as much of that out as you can. And then I just squash it down. So you can see here I have missed a bit, so I'll just go back in and just repress some more clay over the top. And then I'm just going to scrape that off. So when this clay dries on these molds, you can just flake it off, so it's easy. It comes off so easy. I'm still missing that corner bit. I'm not sure why that's happening. Maybe when I scrape it off I'm being too rough. Anyway, this is the back side of it. There we go. That's better. I'll just do that. Yeah, so this is the back side of it, but you want it pretty smooth because we're going to be using these in our journals. We don't want it really bulky. And when these are made, once they're dry, they are so light, so they don't add weight to your journals. They may add a little bit of bulk, but not too much. So I just tapped the mold then because there were some little scraps of mold in that had fallen off here when I scraped, and they were they dry pretty quickly, those little bits. So I didn't want the top of my my piece to be all scratchy and lumpy. Okay, and that's all you need to do. So I'm just going to, let me just seal this up. So I've got that all nice and sealed in a clip seal bag now. I'll get rid of that. And I just need, actually I might just put them out on this container here. Just put my tools away out of the way. And I've also got some gesso here because I want to use it when I'm colouring. And then all you need to do is you just, and hopefully hopefully these come out, and they come out as easy as I say they do. Obviously there's a lot of detail in these, and so you just peel them out. Okay, so mine aren't going, why are they not going to cooperate? So the mold is really flexible, so you can just manipulate it. So you just want to get in there. So I haven't, for some reason, I don't know whether it's the clay, because I haven't come up against this problem before. This is actually just breaking. So all I can think of is that possibly one of a couple of things. I didn't put enough corn flour in there, or it's the clay. So I think probably what the problem is, by the looks of this, is I haven't put enough corn flour in there. So I might very quickly, I'm just going to try and tear these out, because they should be coming out way easier than this. Yeah, that's not good. Okay. So I'm just going to pop that to the side. So this is a right mess here now. So I've got all this clay stuck in here. And if if you don't want your desk to get dirty, have a mat or a protective cover on your desk as well. All right, so I'm not overly happy with that clay. Can't say I am loving it. I think I'll be going back to my other brand of clay. Iron Orchid Designs do bring out their own clay, and it is absolutely beautiful to work with. It's not cheap, but you get what you pay for. So this brand here was just a cheap one at Bunnings. So obviously not great. All right, so I'll just do this one again and see if this one works. It is quite intricate as well. This will, like, I haven't ruined the mold now. That will dry and I'll just be able to flake that out rather than try and waste your time and do it now. So I'm putting excess corn flour in there, and then I will shake a little bit of it out, but I'm going to leave more in there than what I did before. So you can see I've got way more in there than what I had before, and I'm not going to have enough of the clay, I don't think, to do this whole mold. I might have, and we'll just try it again and just see if that's the issue. If it doesn't come out nicely this time, I'm going to say it's the clay. Luckily, I do have a couple that I have prepared from the Iron Orchid Design clay, and I've used it all up. All right, so we'll just go with that. Now let's see. I think I can see that that's going to come out a lot easier already. All right, let's give this another try. Yep, okay, so I think it was me, and I didn't put enough of the corn flour. So that has come out beautifully there now. It does crack a little bit. The detail is just so fine. And that can be, you can actually, with a little bit of water, and push it back together now if you like, or it will easily glue back together once it's dry. So I need to just sit it on this straight surface, this flat surface. I'll just give you a bit of a close-up of that. Look at the detail in that. Isn't that amazing? Okay, so that's how they come out. So obviously put extra corn flour or cornstarch in there. I'm going to leave that mold like that. So when it dries, all that clay is just going to flake off really easily. So let me just pop that to the side out of my way. And I'm just going to give this a little bit of a wipe down, and my hands are wiped down because I'm going to try and decorate a few that I had prepared the other day. I am actually going to be using watercolors. You could use acrylics. I'm just waiting for my mat to dry. You could use acrylics. You could use all different. You could use your distress inks. You can actually add this to if you've got some of the refillers, or even put this down on your mat and add some water and then roll your clay in it for if you want the clay to be coloured. So I just wanted to show you. So this is the same mould that I did using the Iron Orchid Design air dry clay. So that's white, and then that one's supposed to be white as well. I can't see that it's going to dry white, but everyone's perception of white is obviously different. So I'm just going to pop this down here. And I'm going to be using my watercolors. I think I already said that. Now I want to try and use, I'm going to be using some of the beautiful Prima watercolors. I've got some different palettes here, but I don't, let me see, do I have a gold? Because I'm thinking I want to add gold and oh, I do, look at that, first go. I want to do the base of this in gold and then let it dry, and then I'm going to add some gold leaf, and hopefully that will turn out really lovely. So the beautiful Katie's just bought me down a glass of water for my painting. So I think I've got everything here that I need. So I'm just going to get So I want to do some fine detail on a couple of others, and I want to do some dry brushing, and I want another round one. Okay, so I'm going to use those three. I mean, I'm just using a size 7, a size 6, and a size 1. But for the base of this, the base color, I'm just going to be using a round brush 7, number 7. Okay, so if I can find, I'm just going to activate the watercolor. Okay, so I think you probably see this better if I put it on the green mat. And basically I'm just going to go all over the mold with this gold. Isn't that beautiful? Just really roughly. Just getting in all the nooks and crannies. And you can see there's little extra bits here. They just break off, or if you've got a little emery board, you can just sand them off as well. They just flake off really easily. I'm just going to make sure that I cover all the sides as well. And as I said, I'm just being really, really random. Doesn't matter if there's thicker colour of the gold in places. I want it to look quite aged. You could leave that as it is if you wanted to. You could put that in your journal. You could add a little bit of turquoise for some patina. But I just want to try some of the gold flakes. So I'm just going to pop that to the side and just let that dry for the moment. And while I'm waiting for that, I might just do another one. Here's another one of these that I did, and it has dried. So you can see there's some excess clay there. So you can get in. Now this is a bit thick, this emery board, but you can just sand it, and it just sands off any excess. You can see how that's just coming off. So there's just a couple there to dry. And I did do a couple of the, let me just see, the cameo ones. So this is out of the cameo mold, which is really, really lovely. As is this one. And this one, they're just beautiful. So they just turn out, and the details, so this one's upside down, I think. No, it's not. Let me have a look. Yeah, so that's the way that it goes. So I might have a go at painting maybe some of those as well. Let's try this one. And obviously I want this flower to be a different color, so I'm going to be a little bit more careful in here with my gold, but I'm going to do the gold first. So I'm just going to change to my number 1, so it's just a finer detail brush. And the only reason I'm doing it a little bit more carefully is because I don't want the gold to go right up the edge of the rose, because I want to bring the, if a little bit gets on the edge, it doesn't matter, but I want to bring the colour of the rose, whatever colour I decide on, down the sides as well, just to give it depth. Okay, so while I've got the brush with gold on it, I'm going to do this one as well, I think. And I'm just going to I'm going to leave the back of this one white, I think, and then I'm just going to paint gold around the edge. So I've let them sit there for a little while, and they don't take that long to dry. So that is pretty much dry. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use some gold foil, and you need some sizing. I have tried to do the gold leafing size. So just some sizing for your gold leaf. I have tried just glue before, and it just doesn't do the same thing because this actually dries tacky. Okay, so I'm going to open it this way, and I'm just going to randomly put some of this sizing on bits and pieces on here. Leave it for a bit, and I'll do the same on this one, and actually, I will just leave these ones at the moment because they're just freshly done. These I'm going to add some sizing just randomly over them. I use just a brush that can, doesn't matter if it doesn't go back to its normal softness. I've got some old brushes that are pretty much had it, and they really need to be thrown out. So they're good ones to use with the sizing, because if you don't get to clean them straight away, they will be stiff and you won't be able to use them again. So as I said, I'm just doing very random strokes on here, not thinking about it too much, and I'm going to leave these sit for a bit because I need for that sizing to go tacky, and then I'll apply some of the gold leafing. So I'm just making sure that I get some on the sides as well. And when you do this, if you don't have enough sizing on there or enough gold leaf on there, you can always go back and do it again. So I'm just going to put that to the side. Yeah, no, I'm going to leave that for the minute. I'm going to actually add some colour. So I'm going to stick that in my water and try and get that clean. Okay, so I'm going to add a little bit of colour to this. And what am I going to use? So this one is called Pastel Dreams. This is another Prima palette. And Vintage, what is this one? Sorry, Vintage Pastels is another nice one that I like. But I think I'm going to go with the brighter one for today. And I'm going to use this colour. This colour, I think. And this time I'm just going to be using my size 1 brush. I'm basically just going to go over the whole image. Now I don't paint for a living, and there's probably ways, quite possibly better ways to be doing this, but this is just how I'm doing it. So I'm just going all over once again, not thinking about it. I mean, flowers aren't perfectly even in colour. But I'm going to put one colour all over the flower to begin with, and then where the deepest pieces are, so down in here, I'm going to, once it's dry, I'm going to go back and add more colour so that it gives it more depth. And I'm just, you can see I'm going around, well, hopefully you can see, around the edges there and getting the colour on there as well. So I've basically covered that with the crimson colour. And I'm just going to set that aside to dry for a minute, and then I'm going to come in here and do a little bit of colour on this one. This one I think I'm going to use maybe a yellow. We'll just use the same palette, I think. So this one's called Citrus. I'm going to come in and do the roses. You can see the detail on this one. The roses, and then I'll do the leaves in a couple of different greens. So I'm just going to quickly do that as well. So I've done the yellow, and as I said, I will go back in and add a little bit of depth into the base of the petals. And this is pretty much dry. It's really dry to the touch. So I'm just going to come in and add just some colour into the crevices here, into the deeper side part of the rose. I don't know whether you can see that. So it's just adding a little bit of depth. Just bringing a little bit of darkness into. I've just got my brush loaded too much. Just into those folds of the flower. And I think I could probably even do it again once this dries. I'm just going to leave that for a second. I'm jumping all over the place here, but this sizing is quite tacky now. So I'm just going to close that up, move them out of the way. And I'm just going to put some gold leaf on onto this where I've put the sizing. Now with this you just need a really soft brush, and I like to use this fan brush. I just find that it works the best. And I'm just randomly, because I can't really see where the sizing is, so I'm just covering the whole piece here. And you'll see why in a minute. So I'm putting on there as much, so it looks like a real mess at the moment. And I'm going to bring in my other piece as well. And I'm just going to push the the leaf onto that. Okay. So then what I do is I just go around with this brush, and I'm just going to lightly brush away any excess. And so this is where I said you can go back if you haven't got enough, haven't put enough sizing on, and you want more gold leaf. You can go back, oops. You can go back and add more in places. I won't for the sake of this video. I probably will once I'm finished, but just to give you an idea how much or how little you can put on there. Isn't that just beautiful? And then this one. So this one I've obviously put a little bit more sizing on. That's Maddie laughing in the background. Everyone's home, so you can see, isn't that just beautiful? I can see here I've missed a bit of gold, painting gold on the edge there. That's okay. You can go back and touch all this sort of stuff up. Now, this gold leafing is quite messy. I love it. I love finding gold leaf days later. So if you don't like mess, this may not be a project for you. But let me just bring that up closer just to give you a little bit of an idea. Aren't they stunning? And this is another one that I have done as well. And I've used a different gold paint on the base. So quite an easy project. Not quick because you've got all that drying time and everything, but absolutely beautiful. All right, so I'll keep the gold leaf out because we're going to do the edges of these. What I might do is I might put the sizing on. I'm trying to think ahead here. I might put the sizing on the edge of this one and try and let it dry while I work on the greenery on this one. So I've put the sizing on that, and I'm just going to pop it to the side. So the sizing is quite tacky when you first use it, but you don't want it too wet. You want it to get to the point where it's really tacky when you touch it, because you want the gold leaf to actually stick to the piece. All right, so I'm going to revisit this one, and with this one as well, actually no, I'm not even going to add depth to, because you can see I've put the watercolor on uneven, and so it's picked up different colors here and there. I'm going to do the greenery now. So this one is called Terrain, and I'm going to use a few different greens. And even quite possibly mix them. So as you can see, all the greenery is different, different greens, different shades. Some's darker, some is lighter. You can be more precise than me if you wish. That's just what I've done. And I'm going to now put just around the edge here, I'm going to put some sizing around the edge for some gold leafing on that one as well. This other little one is pretty much to the point, I think, my fingers are all tacky, pretty much to the point where I can put some leafing on here. Yes, I can feel it. You can feel it when you pick it up. So I'm just going to place the leafing just really randomly. So it doesn't matter if you put way too much on there, it won't stick where there's no sizing. So my hands are going to have gold all over them when I'm done here, because I can feel the stickiness on them. So you can have this, the leafing be a lot smoother as well if you use some straight sheets like this. So I'm basically just using leftover pieces that I've taken off other projects. I've been using the leafing through my journal as well, and I absolutely love it. I can't get enough of it at the moment. So this brush is really quite sticky, so which is not helping. So maybe it wasn't quite to the point of being ready, but once again, just for the sake of the video, so you get a bit of an idea. And there's a bit of gold in the rose there, but that's okay. We'll just go with that. And then, so I could put a little bit more in there. And I'll leave this bit until a little bit longer. See, I've got gold all over my fingers. Alrighty, so what I'm going to do now, as you can see before, I put a little bit of darker color. I don't know whether you can, just in the folds of the petals of the rose, just to give it a little bit more depth. So now what I want to do is just do a little bit of dry brushing, just to give it a little bit more dimension. And I'm just going to use some gesso. You can use some white acrylic. And you don't need much. So, like I said, I'm just going to do a dry brush. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to put my brush flat and run the brush along the top of it. And you can see it's just picking up the higher points of the rose. And it just gives it a little bit more dimension. So I want to do that on here as well, but I need to wait now until that sizing is ready to go. So that is really quite cute. So I'm just going to wait until that sizing is tacky enough to put some leaf on it. So this time I'm going to use a flatter sheet and just see if the difference is, probably you're not going to notice it too much because this detail is really fine, but I am just going to, oh, you mean to do that, I am going to pop this, I meant to do it the other way. Okay, so that's not turning out how I wanted it to. Anyway, I'm using a sheet, a flatter sheet. is what I'm trying to say. And I'm just placing it over this whole piece. So you can see that has now got the gold leafing on it as well. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do the dry brush on the top of these yellow roses, just to show you how to get a little bit more definition on there as well. And then I'll show you a few different ones that I've done. Wipe off the excess paint, and once again I'm going to go from the base of the rose to the top, leaving your brush as flat as you can and just dragging it across the top. Way too much paint on there now. As I said, I'm not a painter, but these are just a few little tricks that I've learnt, and I'm sure that they can be done much neater than what I'm doing, but for what I want them for, I think these are just beautiful and they turn out just beautifully. So let me just tidy this mess up a little bit. Okay guys, so I have just put all the ones that I've done today on the back of one of these molds, just so you can see them a little bit better, and I think they are stunning. I absolutely, oh, I've got that one upside down, I think. So this I've just put like a little random bits of gold. You could even bring it onto the white background a little bit more if you wanted to. So this is those two. One I've done with a darker pink, one with a lighter pink, and you can see the dry brushing with the gesso just sort of gives it another bit of dimension. So these again, and as I said, you know, like, it doesn't matter if the greenery is all different colors, it just adds to it. These I absolutely love them with the gold, random gold pieces on them. So yeah, how much fun. Messy but fun. I absolutely love it. I hope you guys enjoy that video. If you've got some molds, why don't you have a play? If not, I do sell them in my shop for a limited time. Once they're gone, they're gone. But I love them. I'm going to go and make some more. I have got some white pieces here that have dried that I've done. So this is a cameo. I can't wait to do that one. This is one that's even more detailed in a frame that I could paint. So these are some of the monarch molds. So that's a dragonfly out of the monarch mold and a butterfly. And there's even tiny little butterflies there as well. Hope you can see that. And then even in, I'm not sure which one this is out of. Actually, it's out of the cameo mold. Have a look at these gorgeous tiny little birds. So I'm going to go and paint some of them as well. You know, like there's even keys, little gems. Now I haven't cleaned any of these up. These have just come out of the mold and have dried. I'll go around some of these and tidy them up and put with the file, is what I'm trying to say. So yeah, I mean, look at the detail on that little rose one there. Rose and daisies. So absolutely beautiful. I have so much fun doing them. As I said, if you don't like painting or using watercolor paints, you could just get some sizing and gold leaf and they would look stunning anyway. And you don't have to add color, just add your gold leaf. What do you think? I'd love to hear what you say, or what you think about those. You'll see some of these popping into my journals and journaling cards in the future. Yeah, so I'm going to head off and do a little bit more painting. I just wanted to show you, I did finish the video, but I'm inserting this here now. So these are the ones that I did earlier, and I showed you those. So I've painted and added the what do you call them? The gold flakes to them. And then, and these as well. So I absolutely love them. And I also wanted just to say that this piece here is so fragile that I broke it, but it seems to glue back okay. So at the beginning of the video, I said that the air clay mold was brown, and I wasn't overly happy with that, but it pretty much dries white, so that's good. It's going to show the color nicer, I think, if it's white. So they're the ones that I showed you earlier, but then I couldn't stop playing, so I did put some of the sizing on some butterflies and a few more lockets, and I did the dragonfly. It's all very, very rough, and that's the way I wanted it to look. So I don't know, I absolutely love them. Now the back looks pretty rough, but they're going to be glued down, so that's okay. Another one, and then a butterfly. And then I did these little, I don't even know what you call these, like little locket type things. Not 100% happy with them, but they still look aged. I'm going to play around a little bit more with those. So they look like they've been, you know, chipped and knocked around a little bit. And that, as I said, that is the look I was going for. So that's those. And then I thought, I knew I had some rose gold or copper leaf somewhere, and I did find it. So once again, not overly happy. It's just the way I've brushed it on. I wasn't thinking, and I've just done straight lines. I didn't want straight lines. But underneath on some of them, I actually added like a tealy color. I don't know whether you can see it on that. Just to add a little bit of patina. Stand up so that I can see what I'm showing you. So a little bit of patina on those, so they look a little bit older. This one I just did, this one I just did in the copper, the rose gold. It's absolutely stunning. Love it. And this little heart as well. And this one is my favorite, I think, the key. And I've put like the tealy color in there to give it a little bit of a patina there as well. So I just wanted to show you those extra ones that I did after I switched the video off. I couldn't help myself. I had a mess out anyway, so I thought I may as well just keep going and having a play. So, all right, guys, that's all. I hope you enjoyed those. And as I said, you'll see some of these debuting in some of my upcoming journals and bits and pieces. So I hope you enjoyed that. And until next time, take care, and I hope you get a little bit of crafting time in. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.